We've been hearing rumors for many months about Tesla software version 11. It's supposed to be kind of the next big thing, the big yearly upgrade that brings with it a lot of the biggest features that the Tesla vehicles will get all year. If you remember last year with version 10, that's a software update that brought with it the new Tesla Theater with video streaming, a bunch of new games, some UI tweaks, and a whole lot more, including Spotify, which is really awesome to see. But this year, what we got over the big holiday update can and cannot be categorized as version 11. It seems like the verdict is still out on whether or not this is the real thing. And although we got a lot of really nice design tweaks and some upgrades and some bug fixes, most of what we got were a lot of bad changes that a lot of owners seem to be very unhappy about. Let me explain. And let me just make it clear for a second that I'm not some kind of Tesla hater. I'm quite optimistic about Tesla, I'm bullish on Tesla, and I'm someone who believes in the company so much that I've spent the money to buy this car. I really love what Tesla is doing, but as a fan of Tesla and an enthusiast of Tesla and someone who talks about Tesla all the time on this YouTube channel, I, like many others, want them to succeed. I'd like them to make improvements when improvements need to be made, and I think that this is a case where Tesla can learn from their mistakes, learn from some very valuable customer feedback, and fix some things that we got in this latest update that just probably weren't the right move. And I love Tesla, like I said, I just want them to be better, and I think one of the ways we can move forward and be better is by acknowledging our mistakes. But instead of just sitting here talking about it, let me actually show you this latest software update, some of the things I really like, and also some things that I don't like, and why I agree with many people that say that Tesla put way too much emphasis on form here over function. So on the surface, you'll notice a couple of interesting things right off the bat, and we're actually seeing a lot of big design changes and some element tweaks that we haven't seen before. First things first, you'll notice if I just show a side-by-side difference between the version 10 and this update, whether you call it version 11, whatever it happens to be, here is the side-by-side. You can immediately notice a few things have changed. First, the bottom row here used to be black. It is now kind of this off-white color with gray icons here across the bottom, which is kind of nice. You now have access, easier access to things like the windshield wiper controls, which I mentioned before. You have things, you know, like the camera here you can launch really easily and get access to, which is kind of nice. And also a really easy way to see seat heater controls and if you have kind of the air on or off and what that temperature is set to. You're also going to notice probably the biggest change and one of the most controversial with this update is this main screen layout. What we had before was sort of a 70-30 split where 70% of the interface was taken up by the map and 30% by the car and its visualizations and its status, where now it's more like 60-40, where 60% is actually taken up by the map and 40% by the car. It's a little bit more than half of the map, but that 10% makes a big difference. The biggest complaint by many owners who have updated is that this space here is just too much wasted space. The map is now more out of the way. You have to make more of an effort to look off in this direction, and you also just have a lot less usable space. We used to just have a little bit more screen real estate that would give us a little bit more access to the map, and that was one of the things people loved most about Tesla, was this big, beautiful touchscreen that gave you access to a giant map when you were looking around for things, points of interest, and getting directions. Now what you have is a little less of a map and more of this area here for the car status, things like the mode you're in, visualizations, stuff like that. This is kind of cool. There's now this kind of updated visual guide to your car where you can do things like open the frunk and the trunk, you can lock and unlock, and the cool thing is that this is kind of a live updated representation. So if I was to open the car door here, you'll see that the car door opens on the side from the driver. If I close it, it closes. You'll even notice that if I roll down the window a little bit, even whatever it happens to be, it'll actually track live as I do it. So that is kind of cool. Some nice little element tweaks there. But many argue that it's a little bit more novelty than it is very useful. Something that Ben Solons pointed out in his video, which he did a great job kind of breaking this down with his wife. I'll leave a link to that video down below. It's that you really don't notice right off the bat, just looking at the screen, what mode the car is in. Because obviously the Tesla doesn't have a motor, it's hard to know whether the car is on or off or what state it is in. And you would know just by glance here if you were in park, if you were in drive, if you were in reverse. You just would know. If I was to obviously bring the stock up, if I was to press my foot on the brake and redo everything here and get into to reverser, then you could obviously see it there. But it's not so immediate right off the bat. And if I go into park, you'll notice that it all kind of resets. And then those little instruments there go away, and I'll just kind of scroll through here to get rid of all that. There we go. This kind of fades away, then you just don't know what mode the car is in, which is a little bit frustrating and a little bit annoying. Another thing that I think many are frustrated with, and is a change I don't really like, is the battery indicator. So I think that this might have been done in an effort to curb range anxiety and make the battery a little less prominent by placing it up here. You'll notice again, a side-by-side, the battery used to be much larger. It would be kind of green to show you that it was in a healthy, good rate of charge or a good rate of capacity, and then you'd have kind of red and orange to indicate lower and lower capacity once you drop below certain percentages, getting near empty. Now what you have is a much smaller indicator of the battery up in the corner here, and it's just gray. It's very monotone. It easily blends into the background of this off-white color, which makes it really hard to see at a glance. Again, maybe this is an effort by Tesla to kind of curb any kind of range anxiety, to make it a little less important. But when you're dealing with an all-electric vehicle where battery percentage is the most important thing and how many miles you have left is crucial, it'd be nice to have that a little bit bigger. It'd be nice maybe if it was bigger when it got, the less capacity the vehicle had, the bigger it got, to kind of show you, hey, you need to charge, but it just kind of is stationary there up in the corner. Not my favorite design element tweak at all. This just feels like a whole lot of wasted space. I think that's kind of the general consensus by many, is this is a very big portion of the screen and just a very big wasted amount of space. It's nice to see as you drive the different visualizations as you kind of go down the road and you can see what the car sees. And yes, the Tesla vehicles are very smart. They can see a whole lot of stuff on the road, and it's cool to see the car do its thing. But when you're not an autopilot and when you're driving and when you're kind of doing anything but in that full self-driving mode, you would probably rather see more of the map than you would the car and the visualization. So kind of a missed opportunity there, a lot of wasted space, and obviously some room for improvement. One of the things that many people have said that Tesla should do is just kind of make a different preset options that you can kind of choose whether you want a layout like this or you want maybe more of a 70-30 split or an 80-20 split. If Tesla would just give us the options to kind of reduce the size of this and give us more map, or vice versa, that would be nice, at least just to have that option, and something I think can easily be done in a future software update. Another interesting note is that I can't really show it here, but Ben Solons again tweeted with his Model S, and it's the same with the X as well, is that there's even more wasted space and even more weird design elements when you look at that car. Elon Musk actually did reply saying that there is a major UI overhaul that is indeed needed and it should be coming. But as you can see, just a lot of weird design elements that translated into the software update that just seem to kind of waste a lot of space. And again, focuses a little bit more on form than it does on function, because this is not as functional as it was before. Besides some of the negatives, there are some positive things in this update that I really like. Probably my most favorite feature here is the live update of supercharging stalls. So before, Tesla would just kind of show you that there was a supercharger available, then you'd have to tap on it to get any kind of information on how many stalls are open. The nice thing is that now you have kind of a live preview that shows you exactly how many stalls are open, and this works on any supercharger. So if I kind of zoom out here to show you, we can see how many stalls are open at a glance at different superchargers. This is super, super nice. This is probably my favorite part of the update. I love this. I would love to see, though, if they could just tell us which stalls were occupied or which ones were out of order. That's not a thing yet, but it is super nice to see kind of a live update of how many stalls are available just right at a glance. Another major part of this software update is games. If we jump in here to the entertainment tab, we can see that there are a couple of new games, including Polytopia, Solitaire, Cat Quest, some cool stuff here. Also, there is an ability now that if you're the passenger, you can play a couple of games while the car is in drive. I can't really demo here because I'm in park, but if the passenger confirms they are in fact the passenger, they can actually play games like Solitaire as the driver is, focused on the road and driving. That's kind of cool. I will say that a number of people I've seen online in different Tesla subreddits have kind of talked about the idea that maybe you know, games are cool, but they're not really the main thing that Tesla should focus on. And, you know, I love having the ability to play games. I think these games look great. They're very fun, but I do agree that maybe it would be nice if there was some emphasis put on other things besides games. I'm just going to leave that at, you know, leave it there. If you guys agree or not, let me know, but that's just something I saw kind of floating around that I happen to agree on. Another nice thing is that you could see the navigation directions kind of above this little element here while you're driving, if this screen happens to be blocked. So let's say the passenger is playing a game or they're browsing through music. Before, your kind of turn-by-turn directions would be hidden behind that interface. Now they automatically get shifted over by the driver, which is super nice. It's much closer to the driver, much easier to see kind of out of your peripheral vision. That was a really nice small change that Tesla finally made that is a welcomed addition in this new software update. So all in all, it's a very mixed bag of an update. On one hand, I love kind of the streamlined design changes. I love that some things like the windshield wiper controls are more accessible. And overall, I like the Tesla design aesthetic. But on the other hand, I again think that there is just too much emphasis here on form over function, and functionality was kind of lost a little bit. Some of these things like the battery icon and the car's mode, whether it's in drive or park or whatever, are just a little too out of the way for my liking. And also I just think the map needs to be bigger. Having some of these changes implemented, like changing the layout or having the option to change or customize the layout to different preset functions, would be a great thing. And I think that you know, these are just easy design elements that can be changed in future software updates. I like a lot of things here, but again, I agree with many that there is definitely room for improvement and some things I'd like to see Tesla fix and change in future software updates. So what do you guys think of this new, I don't know, can we call it version 11? What are your thoughts on this holiday update? Was it what you were expecting? Was it everything you were hoping for? Or do you think Tesla has a little bit of work to do on the next update? And then we will get something that will bring a lot of these rumored features and a lot of the next big things for the fleet of Tesla cars. Let me know what you guys have to say down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'm Robert Rosenfeld, and I'll see you in the next one.